Good evening and welcome to the Radical SR8 Championship. Round 1 takes us to Silverstone. We are using the historic Grand Prix configuration to kickstart this new campaign. I am Tom Cairns in the commentary position. Alongside me is James Parfitt, who will be with me to analyse the action as the evening goes on. We've got 14 drivers preparing their final runs in qualifying before we crack on with the first of 3 races. The first being 15, the second being 15, and the third one being 20 with the reverse grids involved. A little bit more on that later, and we are gearing up for the final minutes of this qualifying session. Paul LeMay is the fastest ahead of the reigning champion of the pros, John Hutchison. The reigning champion of the AMs is Stefan Mellis, who is also involved this evening. Let's bring James in, who's been waiting since the broadcaster started. James, how are you this evening?
I'm very well, mate. Not bad. Looking forward to this. Should be a good one. I've been here for ages. I missed a lot last season. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I left it in the capable hands of you and Jim, of course. It was an interesting one. John Hutchison taking a win in the pros and Stefan Mellis just beating, I think it was Jan Polman to the AM Championship as well. I think this is going to be an exciting one. I've never really done much racing at the historic, to be honest, the Silverstone circuit, but it does look a little bit more fun than the modern day one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it kind of gives me vibes of the 80s, actually, with the flat-out section of roundabout where Abbey is and roundabout where Club is as well. It's kind of giving me those vibes a little bit, but I think for the sake of this championship, it does help put on some good racing. I think if the chicanes were there over at Abbey and where Vale is, I think overtaking would prove to be a little bit more difficult, and I think the fact we've gone for this configuration is going to make things a lot more exciting. Now, in case you're wondering where we are racing at this season, we've got 10 rounds. We begin with the Silverstone Historic configuration event tonight. Then we head to the Grand Prix configuration of Donington next week. Then it's off to Imola on the 25th of this month, and it's to Charlotte Roval, a track which I don't believe the Radical SR8s have visited yet, to my memory. Then we go to Le Mans on the 8th of September. Now, that is going to be a different format. It'll be a 50-minute endurance race for these drivers, just the one race for then. Then it's off to Phillip Island, Down Under on the 15th of September. Then it's to Zandvoort on the 22nd, Suzuka on the 29th, Thruxton on the 6th of October for the penultimate round. And the season finale will be at the same location as where it was last season, the historic configuration of Monza. James, I don't think you were there for when we had it, but when it was on, my goodness me, it was a lottery. Yeah,
it definitely is Monza historic, partly due to the fact it's got the ovals as well, and I think it's going to be very, very exciting, as it always is. I watched last season's after I finished the broadcast I was on, I sat and watched it as well. John has done a great job, Hutchinson, and has got a massive influence in this one in regards to Le Mans and stuff like that with the endurance racing. Charlotte Roval, never, ever, ever, ever seen an SR8 or an SR10 at Charlotte Roval, so I'm going to be interested to see how that works out. All the others, of course, have gone there a little bit throughout the calendar as well. Thruxton, as always, is going to be a great one. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how we go. 30 seconds left of qualifying, of course. And at the moment, it is Paul LeMay on a 1:33.1.
And it looks to be on course to pick up the first point of the season, the championship point, because you do get a point for pole position in this series. Paul Crabb amazingly jumping up into second place ahead of Evan Bremer. John Hutchison, the reigning champion, only 5th fastest. And no Luke Maxwell this evening, and I don't think he's around for next week either due to personal circumstances, but hopefully he'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. Qualifying has concluded, and we are ready for the first race. We're just waiting for the grid graphics to appear, and we'll run down on the grid for the first of 3 races tonight. Paul LeMay on pole ahead of Paul Crabb. It's Evan Bremer and Mike Bousson on row 2. John Hutchison and Ben Underden on row 3, followed by Jack Veazey and Menno de Graaf on the 4th row. Jamie Bird and David Walters running up the top 10, ahead of Stefan Mellis and Michael LeMay on row number 6. Rounding out the grid is Tim Walters and Patrick van Zandbeek.
It should be an interesting one. 14. I don't need to deal with that grid there as well because the colours was off on there, which was a little bit annoying. Yeah, so there's basically been about 19 signed up. Luke, unfortunately, is decorating his house. which I'm not quite sure if he's best pleased about or not, to be honest with you, but he is decorating currently at the moment. But we'll see how he gets on here as well. He's going to be back. There's a few others that are away as well. Ben Gregory, I don't think, can make it, or he's running late and is having a little bit of troubles getting in. So, yeah, there's a couple of people who are not here. So we should have a full grid in about a couple of weeks' time of about 19 cars. So looking forward to this one as Mike Bousson, John McHutchison and Jack Veazey decide that they don't want to get on the grid straight away. Craig Jones, you absolute plonker. Welcome in. Just popped in to see if James has cheered up. I've been fine all evening, Tom. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I'll have a look at that as the race goes on. We've got about 45 seconds max before the lights come on for the start of this first race. We've got a few debutants now. Jack Veazey, looking forward to see how he gets on. Patrick Van Zenbeek also. Tim Walters, no relation to David Walters. For your information, as far as I know, they are different nationalities, so my assumption is that they're not related.
No, they're not. Different, completely different. If Mike Walters was here and Tim Walters are here, then they're brothers. But they're not related at the moment.
Paul and May waiting patiently, and the lights are coming on now, and we are gearing to go for a brand new season of the Radical SR8 Championship. Lights are on. Lights off, it's go at Silverstone. A brilliant getaway from LeMay, but not as good as Paul Crabb, who had a better launch. It's going to look to the outside. There's someone off already. It looks like Tim Walters has gone round in the background, but Paul LeMay leads out of Copse Corner ahead of Paul Crabb. It's John Hudson who's leapt up 2 positions into third place ahead of Ivan Bremer, who's dropped down. Mike Bousson is in 5th place with Ben Underdown in 6th position. Jamie Bird in 7th at the Meadow Grove. It's David Walters, Jack Veazey, who's dropped down a few positions. It's Stefan Millis, Michael LeMay, Patrick Van Zenbeek and Tim Walters rounding up the field, who's just recovering, is making his way through Beckett's corner now. And we see the slipstream effect coming into motion, and Paul Crabb is aiming to get in front, but he has to watch out for John Hudson, who'll be gunning to retain his title this time around.
Great job from all of these guys. Paul LeMay got away at the start. I got a funny feeling Tim Walters may have spun that up through the left-hander. They go coming down into club now, looping right-hander. LeMay out front, Crabb, McHutchison, Bousson and Ivan Bremer in behind him. He's going to get it all a little bit tight here as well. They're having a little bit of an argy-bargy, and the 4 of these guys do not give each other any room whatsoever. They have been racing together for years, Tom, and these 4 at the moment are having a great job. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Hudson up into 2nd place ahead of Paul Crabb. Whilst all that was going on, Ivan Bremer fending off Mike Bousson and Jamie Bird, who'll be eager to kickstart their campaigns in the right way possible. And Paul Crabb moving in front of Ivan Bremer momentarily. I think Bremer got in front for a brief second before Crabb was able to retaliate, as they come around to complete the first lap. And I think, judging by the times, we're probably looking at around about no more than 9 laps of racing in this first one. But there is the reverse grid to take into consideration. The top 5 finishers get reversed for race number 2. And right now it's Ivan Bremer who holds that, because Mike Bousson's got past. But it can all change in a blink of an eye. Lap 2 here at Silverstone. LeMay leads, and he's got off to a very good start, James. I have to say, better than expected, if you ask me.
Yeah, he has. Paul LeMay 1.4 seconds out in front, but that's because he's been given a hand by these guys fighting. They can see everybody's locked into a position. Menno de Graaf is in the background. He's fighting away with David Walters. Jack Veazey is down in 10th at the moment, getting to grips with the SR8 currently as well. So fair play to him. I can tell you one man who did not get to grips with the SR8 right at the beginning is poor old Tim Walters. I think, Luke, you might need to get hold of Tim Walters and give him some help with launching the SR8 there. Slammed the power down and away he went as well. Tuned in to watch, finish decorating. Well done, Luke. I'm glad I did as well. Proud of you for finishing decorating. Hope it was a lovely colour and the missus was happy. So you can see further up in front, Ben Underdown, Menno de Graaf and Menno de Graaf and David Walters having a great old fight as well.
We've looking at Ben Underdown, who is continuing to impress. He was impressive last season. There's been contact over at Brooklands. I couldn't quite see who that was, but there was definitely a collision behind Ben Underdown, both of which have dropped places. It might have been David Walters getting involved in that, but I'm sure there was a couple of cars pointing sideways through Brooklands. We'll get a replay as we look at Menno de Graaf's point of view. Was it him that was involved?
Yeah, Menno and David Walters, 2 of them together. So, yeah, both Menno and David Waters going off there as well. But Mike Buisson, Paul Crabb continuing to fight here. She's never happy. Come on, Luke, you got to be pleased with her somehow, dude. You've been married for ages, you've got kids, and you're selling your house. So, you know what I mean? Hopefully she's a little bit happy. Yeah, but this is turning into an interesting one. I mean, you notice the person at the front of this pack, Tom, is kind of escaping down the road. John McCutcheon has escaped away from Paul Crabb, Mike Buisson. Ewan Bramer dropping off the back. Bird's trying to close in them as well. Veazey and Mellis are having a nice little bit of a ding-dong later on down in the pack as well. Menno de Graaf's there and Michael LeMay. This is going to be an exciting one, I think. I don't normally like Silverstone, I've got to be honest. But this layout, I could get used to.
We've seen a few different configurations used across many championships we've commentated on. Particularly one of the older ones, I think, or perhaps a very rare configuration that never got used. We saw some MX-5s race around. I have to say, it actually put on some of the best racing I had ever seen around any configuration of Silverstone. But this one has not failed to deliver so far. Ewan Bremer in 5th place behind Mike Buisson as they exit Lovefield, and through Woodcote they come. And I've noticed as well, when they started the race, they gridded up on the curve of Woodcote and not on the pit straight. The last time Formula 1 used that was back in 1997, before they decided to push it forward to the pit straight so that everyone could see the lights.
Well, that's
and there goes
enough.
Bremer.
Yeah, Bremer goes through there as well. Unfortunately, that was a mistake from Mike Buisson. He ran wide in through Maggotts and Beckett's. We go there. Can't talk about Silverstone too much in different configurations. Craig Jones got lost at Silverstone in an MX-5 in a virtual sim racing race. I'd like to point out as well. He's not happy. He does not like Silverstone at all. Partly because he can't find his way round it.
And he had a strange pit lane, which is where roundabout they're going through. That runoff there on the far side, that's literally where the pit lane was, even though it wasn't actually a pit lane.
Yeah, well, I think for Craig went off down here and the track went the other way. So there you go. Great to watch the broadcast. Unfortunately, I'm on holiday for this in the next 2 rounds. Would love to be in the action tonight. Oh, girl, you should come along. Come and have some fun when you get back and join in with us as well. Jamie Bird sitting in 6th for the movement. Buisson in 5th. Bramer and Crabb looking good so far with about 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, and we come around to complete lap number 4. And it's probably going to be more than 9 laps. I'm just trying to work it out, but it'll come to me as the laps continue to tick down, as does the time. Jamie Bird running in 6th position. Now, for those who are wondering who's in Pro and who's in Am, well, we don't normally give out who's in whichever class until after the first couple of rounds. That's just so that we have an idea as to who is where in terms of pace, if you want to put it in those words, James, if you ask me. We saw it last season, where some drivers perform better than others, but sometimes the pace is what determines it rather than the race result.
Yeah, because we get new people in, there's no point saying, right, you're going to be here, you're going to be here, because on iRating, at the moment, Jack Veazey, who's the highest one at 7.6k, should be a pro. But yet he's sitting in 8th because he's never driven the car and he's trying to get used to the car and everything else. Don't get me wrong. When he gets used to it, I'm sure he'll be flying. But at the moment, he's down in 8th place. So he'll probably be technically an AM until we can get, a few more rounds under our belt. And John's doing a great job, as always, running this in the background and getting people in and getting this all going and making action and getting everything running and the schedule as well. I'm surprised we haven't seen Knockhill on the schedule for another, I don't know how many seasons Knockhill's been on there, but it isn't. But he's kind of favoured Monza Historic as the final hurrah, the final round, the final race, the final run to the line. And Ewan Bramer and Paul Crabb are battling away here. Oh!
Nope, that's Crabb. Is that Bremer he's collided there? I think it is. Paul Crabb going for a spin, colliding with Ewan Bremer. Did very well, lucky not to force other drivers to take evasive action. Some had to go wide on the approach to Brooklands to ensure they didn't run into him. And there we see that is Tim Walters at the back of the pack. He's behind Patrick van Zandbeek, who has not had a lot to do so far, but this is his first race, so he is learning the ropes like a number of drivers are doing as we speak. We are now on lap 6, so we're already halfway through this one. It's probably going to be a 10-lap race, working it out. And at the moment, it's LeMay that is on course to take the first win of the season. Ben Underdown, who shone brilliantly. He did miss the first few rounds, remember, if for those who've been watching Radical SR8 last season. He was phenomenally consistent. There had been a few races where he had to miss for whatever reason, even though in the same round he was competing in some races, but other races just didn't take the start. But he is one to look out for, James, this season. And considering that Gert-Jan Polman's not around for the first couple of events, I think Ben Underdown could be regarded as one of the favourites to take the AM title if he ends up being in the AM class this season.
Yeah, I think it will. It depends on obviously what the situation is and how we're equally going to split it as well. We'll try and keep it as equal as possible. Tim Waters and Van Beek down here are having a right old go at each other. Both of these guys are new to the car and they're, you know, driving it probably for, well, not for the first time because they've probably done some practice in it, but not far away from each other. They're having a nice little battle. This is what it's all about, racing all the way through. Don't forget, we still got the F4s running as well on a Wednesday evening. That's free if you want to come and get yourself involved in that one. It is a broadcasted, you just broadcast your point of view. Come and have some fun, and you see me racing in there as well, albeit not very well, as Waters and Van Beek. Go on, boys, in through Priory they go. Oh, Zambeek's made a mistake. That's going to put Waters through the left-hander and then into Luffield. And that should give Tim Waters a run there on the way out. But Paul LeMay out in front, Gap's coming down to below a second.
John Hudson with a new fast lap of the race as well, which is helping him close in on LeMay. 5 minutes to go in this. When the clock reaches 15 minutes, whatever lap the leader is on is their final lap. They don't do another lap after the time has eclipsed. Zambeek ran wide through Bridge Corner, hence why Walters was able to get alongside and eventually get through on that occasion. But at least they put on some good racing. There's still quite nose to tail between each other, so they may be battling over 13th and 14th, but it is still a brilliant battle to watch nevertheless. In terms of other battles, well, Mike Bousson has got Jamie Bird for company. Bird only about half a second off for the final podium position in race 1. Further down the order, we've got Ben Underdown, who's in 5th place. We've got Jack Vesey and even Bremer. I have to say, Jack Vesey has absolutely very much got to grips with his car and he's on the tail of Ben Underdown. I think there was a car spinning around. I think that was Michael LeMay on the exit of Club Corner. And Vesey runs wide, a little bit too exuberant is Jack Vesey, and that's enough for Bremer to go through.
Yeah, Jack picked up a couple of places here as well, because Bremer and Crabb, obviously we saw them have their own little drama and they both went off the circuit together. That put VC up from 10th when we was talking about him up into 7th now where he is. Is this going to be our first free wide moment of the season? How brave is Jack going to be? Is he going to go there? No, he doesn't. He comes back. No, doesn't make it through. Into the right-hander we go on the run down into Beckett's. And VC here's just got nowhere to go at the moment. These guys are side by side. He's got to wait till you get out the other side, Jack. He's trying to squeeze it in. He did get Ben Underdown. And now, the different question will be is, can he hold it?
Well, this is going to put Jack Vesey to the test. He's good at attacking drivers. How good is he at defending? Well, this is going to be the first test of the season for him, as Ben Underdown goes to the outside and Vesey outbrakes him into Stowe Corner, and that's nicely defended there by Vesey. He placed his car at the right part of the circuit before they got to Stowe, and he's lived to fight another day. Good overtaking from Jack Vesey, good first impression so far. Can he go further in this one? In fact, if he gets past even Bremer, he could be on reverse grid pole for race number 2.
Yeah, top five reverse for race number 2, top 10 for heat number 3. That's your 20 minutes heat as well. So David Waters is down here trying to catch up with Michael LeMay. Michael LeMay just made his own little drama there, unfortunately for Michael. Oh, dude, you're carrying already. Oh, hold it. No, didn't hold it. Stayed out the wall. So fair play to him there as well. But now David Waters is going to climb all over the back of him. And one man that is going to climb all over the back of our leader very, very shortly is Mr. John McHutchison. He has got the gap down to 6 tenths. And with this draft, he's going to be there or thereabouts, right up behind his gearbox soon.
I believe it's 11 wins that John Hudson took last season. It was definitely in the double figure range, but that very much tells you about how much he knows this car from the back of his own hand. This is the penultimate lap of the race, and Hudson is now 6 tenths away from being within striking range of going for it on Paul LeMay. And Paul LeMay, who won the last, I think he won at the last round of the season. He took the final race win, in fact, at the Monza Historic event last season, but with a drag race to the line. with, I couldn't remember who it was he had the drag race with, but it was very, very, very close. Typical Monza-like, and he was able to snatch the win right at the end. He was his first and only win of the campaign. It looks like he's going to make it back-to-back wins here.
Well, hopefully he's going to have one more lap to go here, and John is closing in on him. In through Priory, the left-hander, which is now, I believe, Village, and I think this is part of the loop layout, isn't it now? Is it? Yeah, it's got to be. Up through what would be Village Loop, and up there. Now through the right-hander on Luffield, and then into Woodcote and the run down again. And now we're going to see it's going to be one more lap to go, and Paul LeMay's got to hold on for the final lap, and he's got a William Wallace, the Scotsman himself, closing in right behind him.
Well, this is going to be absolutely crucial for LeMay. He hasn't been in this position for some time. He was behind the car he was battling for the win at Monza last season, at the season finale, but now it's his turn to go on the defensive and hold off John Hudson to the end. This is the closest Hudson has been all race. Can LeMay withstand the pressure and take a brilliant victory? And he's having to get out of the toe to not give the slipstream to Hudson. And we see the battle for third place between Mike Bousson and Jamie Bird further back. So it's not just this battle that we are looking at. There's also a battle for the final podium position, also a battle for who will be on reverse grid pole between Ivan Bremer, Jack Veazey and Ben Underdown. So this is going to go right all the way to the end, but LeMay looks like he's doing enough here, JP.
Yeah, he does. Coming into the left-hander now of Abbey. He's going to be nearly there for Paul LeMay. He's got about half the track to go. Luke, looking at the rhymes in Garage 61. Paul was quickest by a tenth or so. Well, at the moment, Paul got into drama with Ivan Bremer and unfortunately didn't quite even get to the end. Through the left-hander, he goes now for Paul LeMay. Going to be coming into Luffield for the final time here, Tom. Paul LeMay looking like he's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal stuff. LeMay withstanding the pressure from John Hudson all the way to the flag from pole position. Paul LeMay takes the first win of the season in the Radical SR8 Championship at Silverstone. Hudson second. Mike Bousson holds off Bird for the final podium spot, and reverse grid pole for race 2 goes to Ivan Bremer in 5th place, ahead of Jack Veazey, who finishes 6th. And it's Ben Underdown and Stefan Mellis, the reigning champion of the AMS, in 8th place. Menno de Graaf and Paul Crabran at the top 10. And then we've got David Walters, Michael LeMay, and it'll be Tim Walters and Patrick van Zandbeek rounding out the finishers as they are coming around to complete the last tours. I'm sure we'll see some form of improvement from Zandbeek in the coming races. And likewise for Tim Walters, should he get a better launch for race number 2. It's a little bit of a baptism of fire for him, isn't it?
Yeah, he can only go quicker, can't he? You know what I mean? Let's work with it for Pat. He's going to go quicker. He's got guys in and around him that will make him quicker if he wants to reach out and reach out to them. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at the results because they're on the grid for race 2 already.
So that was Paul LeMay taking win ahead of Hudson. It's Bousson in 3rd place, and it's Bird and Bremer. Bremer being on reverse grid pole. Jack Veazey 6th, and it's Ben Underdown, Stefan Mellis, Menno de Graaf, and Paul Crab running out the top 10. We've got David Walters, Michael LeMay, Tim Walters, and Patrick Zandbeek rounding out the finishers. The grid for race 2 is the same, except the top 5 is reversed. So it's Bremer on reverse grid pole, and it's Bird, Bousson, Hudson, and LeMay. Then it's Veazey, Underdown, Mellis, de Graaf, Crab running out the top 10. David Walters in 11th, Michael LeMay in 12th, with Tim Walters and Patrick Zandbeek running out the 14 cars on the grid for race number 2.
Yeah, and we're going to be nearly there already. Not going to lie. So there we go. Well done, Paul. Great job. Well done to the new guys.
And here we go for the second race. Very quick turnaround for race number 1. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go. And it's a brilliant start for Bird. A very poor start from Ivan Bremer. And Michael LeMay has his turn of getting his launch run. And look at Bousson coming through in the middle. Down the inside of Jamie Bird. And they nearly touched through Cop's corner. And that was very, very nearly a concertina collision. And that has cost Bousson big time as they come through Maggots for the first time in this second race. And on the inside is Ivan Bremer, but Bousson nearly shoving it out wide. And Hudson, well, he's just having to hold back in case anything crops up ahead of him. But so far, a brilliant start for Jamie Bird in the lead ahead of Bousson and Bremer.
Oh, Jamie not taking any prisoners in race number 2 there. He literally come across the nose of Mike and went, nope, you are not getting through. And God, Jamie Bird, you aggressive old elbow man there at the same time. Well done to him. But Mike Bousson in second. He's got Ewan Bramer in third, John McHutchinson, Paul LeMay and Ben Underdown. Underdown's got his own battle of easy once again. Menno de Graaf in there, David Walters. But at the moment, Paul Crabb, if he stays where he is, will be on reverse grid pole for race number 3. And Tim Walters has gone again. He's still trying to get to grips with this SR8, and unfortunately he's gone off. But Underdown and Crabb battling it out once more. But Jamie Bird, didn't he get his elbows out there?
He did so much, and it was 3 wide into Copse Corner. I thought it was going to end in tears, if you ask me. It has been historically at times between those 3 in particular. As quick as they are quite prone to getting to find themselves in the wars. Well, those were the words I was trying to get out. But Bird in the lead by the end of lap 1, as we see VZ run wide on the exit of Luffield. He's going to lose a few places there. He's down to P7 as they come around to complete the first lap of the race. David Wells has had at least a better start to this one compared to what he had in race 1, and he's on the tail of VZ as they come out of there. Tim Wells is in the pit lane. I don't know if he suffered damage on that first lap or whether he needs a new set of tyres.
I think he's got a penalty.
Did he jump the start?
I think he may have moved. I'm not entirely sure. I think, yes, he did. Look.
Yeah, well and truly.
So he got a penalty before he'd even gone anywhere, unfortunately for Tim Walters, and it only got worse.
Well, at least he didn't run into anyone stationary whilst he was at it. But down the inside goes Bousson on Bird into Stowe. Bird has the high ground on the exit, able to just take a slightly wider line and gain on the traction to maintain the lead. And Bremer is heading around the outside through Club Corner on Bousson, but Bousson is able to hold on for now. Hudson gearing up for an overtake of his own if he can just stay in touch. But so far for Paul LeMay behind in 5th place, he's having another respectable start to this second race. And I think it's going to come down to who can keep it clean throughout here.
That's the thing with 3 races. The purpose of it is to make sure that you can get to the end. That's the purpose of 3 races, to make sure that you can get to the end of the race without any dramatics. Because what you want to do is try and score points. You have to score points in all 3 races. And it doesn't matter if you're 1st or 14th or 20th or whatever. If you're on the league lap and you're not miles down or anything like that, you score points. So for these guys, it's imperative that they finish these races. It's been the same in other series we've covered as well, where we've done a little MX5s where they had 4 races. You know, the idea was when you speak to the drivers, I've just got to score points in all 4. And this is what these guys have got to do, especially on round 1.
I couldn't agree more. And Bird is doing his best to maintain his lead, but his lead is becoming increasingly tenuous at the moment by the way the slipstream is affecting Bousson in his attempt to take over leadership here. Down the inside goes Bousson, just needs to make sure that was very nearly contact between him and Bird. I've just got a feeling they're going to come together at some point because they came close at Copse Corner at the start and they very nearly came together here at Stowe on lap 3.
Oh, Jamie Bird. Oh, blimey, governor. That was insanely close. Steve, I need you to fill the driver format as well, buddy, on that one. That was insanely close by Jamie Bird. Literally no quarter given to Bousson. Bousson hacked to back out. The problem is it's now put him under pressure from Bramer and McHutchison and LeMay, just purely because Bird put him in that position.
Bremer having a go. He very nearly got by as they went through Bridge and Priory. But it's Bousson who is still in 2nd position. Tim Walters has rejoined the race. Is a long way off this one, so I think it's just more about setting some fast times, really, for Tim. It has been that sort of event for him so far. Fast up of the race from Jack Veazey in 8th place. He really is proving why he belongs in this championship. But there's a spinner. That will be Menno de Graaf. It's gone for a little bit of a rotation, let's say, at turn number 1.
Yeah, him and David Walters again. Not again. Did Walters touch him? No, I think he was already going.
If anything, it's very, very slight.
Oh, it's minimalistic at best, I think, on that one. But unfortunately for Menno, is gone down the order. John McHutchison still there with Ewan Bramer, Mike Bousson, Bird, all having their own little battles. The Scotsman out in front as well. Nice little fighting taking place here. Just gone the 9 minute, coming up to the 9 minute mark. And these guys having a nice little ding-dong. Paul LeMay, winner of race 1, sitting in 5th at the moment. Not really sure where else he can go, to be honest, Tom, here at the current moment, because everybody has got draft in front of him.
Well, if I was Paul LeMay, I'd remain patient, because I've got a feeling, and I stand by this, I think Bird and Buson will come together at some point, because they've been at it since the start. And given how close it's been to contact, as you just see all that looks like Buson go for it again on Bird through Brooklands and Lovefield.
Oh, he backed out again.
He backed out of it. That's very unlike Mike Buson, isn't it?
He's so trying to be nice, but he's jeopardizing what he's doing. He's got his elbows out, but he's almost not got them out far enough. He gave Bird the position on lap 1. He gave him the last lap as well, and he's just giving him again. The problem is, by giving him that position, he's just allowed Iwan Bramer through. Buson has either got to think, I've got to just do this here and pretend he's in his John Deere tractor picking up his carrots in the evening, or he's just going to get whooped over. He's got to get his elbows out. He did not have to jink away from Jamie Bird. There was gaps there and there was space there, and unfortunately for Mike, it's put him in the position where he is at the moment, down in 3rd.
Buson down to 3rd position behind Ivan Bremer. Gone in for an improvement from last season, and it's Bird who leads the way. He won a good few races. I think I remember him taking a couple of wins at Thruxton, and I think he also won at Zolder or somewhere like that for Jamie Bird. Victories were few and far between for him last season. And another fast stop of the race from Jack Veazey in 6th place. He's loving life in that machine. Love to see how he can get on fighting amongst the top guns, the established drivers that know this series from the back of their own hands. As LeMay goes for it on Hudson into Priory Corner. Did he complete the move? He'll have the inside line for Brooklands. Has LeMay got the job done? The answer to that question is no, he hasn't. He's still behind Hudson.
Yeah, still tucked in currently at the moment. Paul LeMay, McCutcheon, VC and Crab. This is a front 7 battle. And these guys continuing to scrap away here. Jamie Bird in this one. Iwan Bramer, Mike Buson, John McCutcheon and Paul LeMay. VC with a 33.849. Now, whether or not that's draft assisted as well. VC's looking like he's getting it under his feet here. He's just trying to get this car going, and Jack's doing a stellar job. Getting it going now as well, picking it up into 6th place, doing a wonderful job. Paul Crabb, though, is going to climb in behind him. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes.
Down the hanger straight they come, and we're right on board with Paul Crabb. Behind Jack Veazey, who's on the tail of race 1 winner Paul LeMay. But it's Bird who still leads the way so far. We've got just over 6 minutes remaining. We expect it to be 10 laps again for this second race of the evening. It's the same point system as what it will be in race 1. I think from memory it's 20 points for a win, 15 for second, and it's a point difference for each position downwards. As for race 3, it's the same sort of difference, except that it's 25 for a win, 20 for second, 19 for third, and it's a point difference for each position down from there.
Yeah, the way that John's done the scoring this season will obviously go towards the leader gaining points here. This is going to be, do you know what? I'm just going to digress for a minute, because Iwan Bramer doesn't back out like Mike Buson does. And if Bird plays that stunt on him again at any point, or played what he played on Mike Buson and Iwan Bramer, I've got a funny feeling there could be 2 cars spinning off here. Bramer would have, brief fastest lap. McCutcheon took it back from him. Oh, Jamie. Yeah, Bramer don't back out. He's Dutch.
What do you expect?
Exactly. That's what I mean. He's the Dutchman. He's never going to back out for a month of Sundays.
Well, he is closer to Bird than he was on the last lap, but he's now got Buson, who's even closer to him. As they sprint down the hanger straight, Veazey's going for it on Paul LeMay further back. Maybe a little bit too far behind, really, to get an overtake completed. But Bremer is still on the tail of Bird, coming out of Stowe Corner. Buson and Hudson, who's beginning to unleash his pace, I think, a little bit, judging by that fast up he did on the last tour. You can just see the way the drift's in. Bremer going to the outside, look. You don't see overtakes like that, and I think Bird must have lifted off a little bit to make sure he made the corner, and that was enough for Bremer to go past.
Yeah, Iwan Bramer takes the outside line through Abbey, now down Farm into Bridge. Through he goes here, coming into the left-hander of Priory. And Ewan Bramer takes the lead. Jamie Bird's getting it all loose now. He's either heated tyres or he's just losing places. He's lost a place to Mike Buson. It looks like he's going to lose another one. Yay. Oh, they're going to come out side by side. This who's going to be able to get the power down here as we're going into the final 4 minutes.
Well, Bird will be in the slipstream, but Hutchison will have the high ground. He will not be overtaken by Bird through Copse Corner. And there we see the two going through, but it's Bremer who leads now ahead of Buson with 3 laps remaining in race number 2 at Silverstone around the Grand Prix historic configuration. We'll run down on the calendar again during the interval between races 2 and 3. We've got a little bit more time before we resume with that, but it's so far so good for Ewan Bremer. We see a battle between Menda de Graaf and David Walters. Now, they've already collided in this race, and Walters very quickly gave the position back to de Graaf, and well,
I don't know why he gave it back, because I don't think there was contact.
I think there was
I think
there was slight.
Yeah, slight contact, but this is the battle for the pole position for race number 3 as well.
Well,
Top
Walters
10.
does get through on de Graaf that time, and he'll be looking to try and pull away. He's got less than 5 seconds to make up on Stefan Mullins, which I don't think he will do in a little over 2 laps. But Bremer leading a long queue of cars to what could be a brilliant victory in race 2. A fine start to his season as well. Buson the same with another good haul of points, and Hutchison, well, just playing it the long game, knowing there's a lot of races to come this season.
Yeah, Mano's trying up the inside at the moment. I've stayed with him just purely because of the importance that this is pole position for race number 3. Mano's going again. Oh, he's got to try and get some speed out now. He's going with David Waters. Waters just got it positioned back. I don't think that's battle's finished either. Ewan Bramer still leading out in front. Buson fastest man on the circuit, 1:33.412.
Yep, and a mistake from Bird on the exit of Copse is allowed Hutchison to get alongside. In fact, Hutchison made a mistake.
Yeah,
he has. And Veazey's got through as well into 5th place. So Hutchison having an absolute mare of it out of Copse Corner.
Yeah, that's a slowdown, that will be. Because I've got a funny feeling if I look at this off track, he is going to go miles to the left-hand side. And then out there, it's going to be, sorry, son. Yep, there you go. He's got a slowdown on that one for John McCutcheon. Tim Waters just unfortunately had more drama. Not going to compound that young man's misery anymore. I've spoken to Tim as well on the Virtual Track podcast. Very nice young man. He's got some wicked stories. So if you've not watched it, go and watch at least the Tim Waters one, sitting 5 feet away at the Monaco Grand Prix from Casino Corner. Lucky man. But yeah, he has got some stories and half there. So go and watch that back as well. But Ewan Bramer might boost on battling for the lead going into bridge.
And with one more tour still to come between Bremer and Buson. The 2 Bs, if you want to count Bird in there, that's the triple B. Going into the last lap of the race, fighting for the second race win. And James Barry, who would usually be involved in this championship, is not around this evening, and neither is Luke Maxwell. If they were fighting, or if they were in this, they'd be right in there, gunning for the win. You would think that John Hutchison would take advantage of it. Well, it's going to be a bigger challenge for John Hutchison than we could have anticipated. What a championship we have got in our hands if the likes of Bremer and Buson carry on their form in the evening, as we saw Birds drifting wide, and I think that's going to be enough for Paul LeMay to get through. LeMay on course for 2 podiums from 2. What about the battle for the win? There goes Paul Graham and John Hutchison, and Hutchison loses another position. That is very unlike John Hutchison, the reigning champion of this series, but the battle for the lead is still on between Buson and Bremer as they head towards Stowe Corner. Does Buson go to the inside? He's attempting to. I think Bremer will have the high ground on the exit, but Buson is through into the lead. But what can Bremer do? Can he do what he did last time on Jamie Bird and send it to the outside? He won't do it through Vale. He'll have to try and go for it on the exit of Club Corner. Oh, it's going to be a mad dash to the end, James.
Yeah, these guys are going to absolutely go hammer and tong here. Ewan Bramer and Buson. Buson finally getting his elbows out. There, which is great to see.
Oh, that's
again,
sensational.
Yeah, again, you can see him back away from it on the final couple of corners.
Yeah, it's Buson going for it. Well, not with getting the power down like that. That's a collision between LeMay and Bird. Disaster for the pair of them on the final lap. but Even Bremer is about to take his first win of the campaign, ahead of Mike Boost on Exton, Luffield and Woodcote for the last time. Even Bremer wins race 2 at Silverstone in the Radical SR8 Championship. Boost on second, and on his debut, to my understanding, Jack Veazey gets his first podium in this series, ahead of John Hudson, who recovers to 4, Ben Underdown in 5th, Stefan Mellis, Paul Crabb, Paul LeMay 8th, Dave Waters 9th, and Jamie Bird on reverse grid pole by finishing in 10th place. Remember de Graaf, Michael LeMay, Patrick Zambeek, and Tim Walters, the rest of those to finish. But this is the collision that decided this race and what is to come for race 3 later, James.
Oh, yeah. Jamie Bird got pole. Jamie Bird got pole. You see somebody else go off in the background there. I think that was Paul Crabb. Yeah, I've just been asked for the track temps, to be honest. I haven't actually looked at them this evening, Luke. 20 degrees, 27 degrees track temperature. Not dramatic when you think about it, mate. As we're waiting for Tim Waters to come over the line for the final one. 27. So there we go. Nothing drastic. So we've got Steve Webb coming along next week as well. There's going to be some drivers as well. But big shout out to Jack for taking that 3rd place in race number 2. Stunning job. Well done to him. As Waters comes over the line, then I'll bring you up the results.
Walters gets over the line. At least he stayed on the lead lap. He did have to serve that penalty for a jump start. Did Tim. He's got a lot to learn so far in this series, but it'll come around for him. His time will come. The result for race number 2, Even Bremer is the winner. Mike Boost on second, ahead of Jack Veazey and John Hudson. Ben Underdown in 5th place, ahead of Stefan Mellis. Paul Crabb, Paul LeMay, David Waters and Jamie Bird, who will be on reverse grid pole for race number 3. Menno de Graaf, Michael LeMay, Patrick Zambeek and Tim Walters are the rest of those to finish. 14 from 14, making it to the end.
Yeah, we're going to go into a brief warm-up here as well. Luke, I don't think he was struggling. I think he just kept picking up an off-track out of cops. And that's why he just wasn't slowing down enough as well on that one. I'm just going to go and fill my water bottle up. We're going to take 2 minutes, guys, as well. I'll leave you with Menno de Graaf while me and Tom top up our water bottles and we'll be back shortly.
One race still to come here at Silverstone in the Radical SR8 Championship. Menno de Graaf, we can see on circuit during this warm-up session, he just wants to get a little bit more practice in before we get underway for the 3rd race. Jamie Bird will be on reverse grid pole. That is thanks to the fact that he collided with Paul LeMay at Priory on the final lap. Otherwise, that would have been 3rd place for him. It is what it is at the end of the day, and he'll have to make up for it in race 3. If he can get off to as good of a start as we had in race number 2, then there is a chance he can actually come away with a very strong result to wrap up the evening. For those of you that tuned in who won race number 1, that went to Paul LeMay, much to some people's surprise, including mine actually, for that matter. For race number 2, the winner of that was Even Bremer, who I think only won 1 race last season, if anything at all. But he's got 1 this evening to kickstart his campaign. And no win yet for John Hudson. Now, James Barry and Luke Maxwell, who are 2 regulars who usually thrive in this series, are not around this evening. Luke Maxwell not in for the first couple of events, but will be back for round number 3 in a couple of weeks' time.
James Barry hasn't signed up at the moment. So he might not be back for this season. But he does do that. He signs up, he runs for a season, and then he'll back out for a season, and then he'll be back a couple of seasons there as well. Goes Jan Palmer, nice new paint on Menno's car. Yeah, looks good. Well, it definitely does look good. Jax and Ben Underdowns haven't loaded in, and I don't know why that is. So if they are watching this back, if you can just have a look at it, make sure you have it selected in Trading Paints for me. That would be absolutely amazing, because it's not showing up. But yeah, looking forward to race 3, top 10 reverse as well, and 20 minutes, 5 minutes longer.
It was 25 minutes for race 3 last season, but it has been reduced to 20, which is probably around about right. Because we know some races can, I don't want to say drag on, but it's kind of like a given by the time we get to the 20-minute mark. We have a great idea as to who's going to end up where, bar any overtakes or incidents. But I think 20 minutes is probably about the right length for the feature race, where the bigger chunk of points get given out to the fields by the end of the evening. Who's going to impress? Who do you think's got to improve in race number 3, James, from what you've seen so far tonight?
Well, John McCutcheon's got to get it right, otherwise he's going to have a round where he ain't actually going to win anything either. And he hasn't taken any wins here once again. I think the likes of Jamie Bird are going to be kicking himself. Some of the mistakes he's made. Paul Crabb also having a bit of a rough night. Tim Waters hopefully just looking to try and get to the end without causing himself any dramas. So, yeah, a few people that have got a lot to come out of race 3. And I'm not going to say it's going to define their season, because it isn't. But it's going to give them a good idea of what they've got to improve on coming into the rest of the season.
Second in race 1 and 4th in race 2 for John Hutchison. And like you say, he'll want to end the evening with a win. How many wins will John Hutchison get this season? Now, for those who've been watching in the live chat, do let us know how many wins you think John Hutchison will get. He got 11 last season. How many will he get this time around? The warm-up session has concluded, and we'll run down the grid for race number 3, JP. And as soon as he has that, we can run down on it. Jamie Bird on pole, ahead of David Walters. It's Paul LeMay 3rd and Paul Crabb 4th. Stefan Millis and Ben Undersdown on the 3rd row of the grid in 5th and 6th. It's John Hutchison and Jack Vesey on row 4. Mike Bousson and Evan Bremer, the race 2 winner, starting in 10th position. Mena de Graaf and Michael and May on row number 6. The last 2 cars on the grid are Patrick Zambeek and Tim Walters.
Yep. Further down, of course, as well. There they are. Yeah, they're getting onto the grid for the final race of this evening. So look out. Who's going to come and take their victory? Is it going to be Jamie Bird? That's going to be the hot topic, because he starts on pole position.
Will Bird be the word this time around in race number 3? Or will it be John Hutchison carving his way through and end his evening on a high? Well, Bird knows exactly what he needs to do the same start, although he doesn't look like he's going to be taking the start. He may be starting from the pit lane. The lights are coming on now, and it's going to be David Walters leaving Paul LeMay. Lights are on, lights off for one last time this evening at Silverstone. And look at John Hutchison blasting his way through from 7th place up into 4th position before they even get to Copse Corner. But it's Paul LeMay who gets the jump on David Walters. Jamie Bird comes out of the pit lane, probably wanting to do a last to first in this 20-minute race, which will take some doing.
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm not quite sure what he's done that for.
And Paul Crabb goes round. I wonder if David Walters ran into him through maggots. We'll get a replay of that. I don't know. I wonder if Paul Crabb jumped across on him.
I don't know. We'll have to have a look back a little bit more in detail on that one. But Paul LeMay leads the field. There goes Jamie Bird into the wall. Pish posh crash for him. What is going on here? Oh, he ran wide. Oh, it was all on his own, Jamie Bird. But yeah, great run out for the guys in front.
Yep, and it feels like there's still seem more drivers going toe-to-toe through here, but it's Paul LeMay already won a race tonight. Can he get 2 from 3? Hudson in 2nd place, gunning for his first win in the campaign. It's Walters, Mellis, Bousson, Bremer. The 2 finishing 1st and 2nd in that second race. Now 5th and 6th as they head through on Mellis. Well, Bousson does at least anyway before they get to Priory, but Mellis is trying to fight back, and who can blame him? But Bremer could take 2 in one go here if he's lucky, but he completely drops it and spins to the back of the pack.
Yeah, Bremer's made a mistake. Mellis made a mistake. Patrick there thinks he's on an absolute lottery win. He's just weaved his way up through 5 places, and he ain't had to do anything. And people have been spinning out Luke Maxwell grabs the win, take it back. I would as well, dude. He's off. He's up in pit lane. He's gone on that one. McCutcheon, but David Walters is the name we haven't seen up top for most of the evening. He's doing a stunning job sitting in that third place at this moment in time. But Mozambique is going to have a nice little ding-dong with Michael LeMay and Tim Walters down there. There is Tim, who's just passed Mozambique there once again. But Jack VC sitting in 6th place, of course.
Yeah, having a good evening is VC. He's probably been one of the surprises of the night so far. Up in 6th position, Menno de Graaf in front of him, who is destined to be an AM driver again this season, is Menno de Graaf. So in my point of view, judging by VZ's pace this evening, I would say he will get ahead of him within the next lap or two before he goes after the more difficult guys to pass, let's just put it that way.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's called finding your feet, right? And if you haven't driven this car before, you need to find your feet. And two men that have driven this car before are definitely finding their feet with each other as they're continuing to fight here at the same time. McCutcheon's just gone through on Paul LeMay in Priory.
David Walters is fancying to go with it as well. I'm actually happy that David Walters is fighting amongst this, because he was right in the thick of it earlier on when he came together with the likes of Menno de Graaf and all that. But now we're actually starting to see whether Walters can actually keep up with some of those who were in Pro last season, i.e. John Hudson and I think Paul LeMay. Was Paul LeMay in Pro last season, or was he in the AM? I think he was in Pro last season, was Paul LeMay. But David Walters, well, he was an AM last season, but now he is, well, if he can keep up with these two, goodness knows where he can end up by the end of the night.
Yeah. Walters there is going to try and get a good move forward if he can. But he'll see how he gets on. Mike Bousson in the back. He's got Menno in behind that. VC's in behind that as well. Michael LeMay is just closed up to Stefan Mellis. And just as I said, good old Pat was having a good old evening. Unfortunately, Pat is not having a good old evening anymore. I believe that's Ivan Bramer who's going to go alongside him. Pat's going to go round it all on his own. Bramer never touched him. And unfortunately for Pat, too eager on the loud pedal there.
Yeah, I was very lucky not to take out Bremer, actually, because Bremer was directly behind him. But luckily, Bremer got past, and he's got a long way to catch up to these if he's going to take victory. Hudson got by on LeMay on the last lap through Bridge Corner, and David Walters, he'll be doing his best to keep himself up there. And just to remind you that the pros and AMs won't be decided until after the first couple of rounds. And that's just to get an idea as to where everyone is in terms of pace compared to others. I think it's safe to say, though, I think John Hudson is most likely going to remain as a pro, considering he won the championship last season.
Yeah, I think you might be right, to be blatantly honest with you. I don't think he's going to change at all. I don't think I'll ever see John in an AM, to be honest with you. I think I've got more hope of winning the lottery than John being an AM driver, to be blatantly honest. But, yeah, I don't know what it is with John in this car. He's just so good at it. It's quite sickening, to be blatantly honest with you. And, he's just good in whatever seems to be whatever car you put him in, to be honest.
I have been impressed with Easy this evening. On the tail of Menno de Graaf, who runs a little too deep through Beckett's, which will compromise his line and exit through Chapel. I think VZ is going to make mincemeat of him by the time they get to Stowe Corner. Through goes VZ on the Dutchman. We've got a few Dutchmen this evening. Tonight we've got Sembeek, Bremer and de Graaf. So that's nice to see. VZ gets past into 5th place anyhow, and the next man he'll be chasing after is Mike Bousson.
Yeah, Paul LeMay's just run wide.
Hudson's dropped it. Yeah, Hudson dropped it. Yeah, thank you for picking that up. Yeah, so LeMay's going to get a great run of him. I thought Hudson was going to go into the wall, but luckily he gathered it all up and only drops to 3rd place, but that so easily could have been a different outcome, JP.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see if I can pick it up. I don't think I'm gonna have to try and do this. I do apologise for going this way, but I want to get all the way back. You can see for John McCutcheon gets a big old snap. Bang.
Got the graph.
Yeah, no, well, he actually hit a bump. If you watch just coming out, or watch as he goes over the curb, you'll see him hit a bump. Coming back onto the track, watch. And there you go. Unfortunately for him, gets a big old snap, puts him all out of control. And around he goes. So, yeah, McCutcheon's going to have to try and do that all again. And he starts with going past David Walters.
Yeah, I want to see Walters get his elbows out here, and he is doing so. I thought he was just going to let Hudson through on the entry to Maggots, but Walters thinks better of it and holds him back for now. It looks like Michael LeMay has come into the pit lane, and it looks like his race is done for tonight. His event is done, and we had all 14 drivers making it to the end in both races, but so far we've got 3 out. Bird, Crab, and LeMay. Michael LeMay, that is. Hudson goes through on Walters for second place. Now it's Paul LeMay who's fighting for the lead again. He'll have to do the same as what he did on lap 2 and get by him round about where Bridge is.
Yeah, this is what happened to Michael. No, Mikey, no! Yes, Mikey into the barrier. Zambeek and Walters have just had their own drama. I don't know whether or not Zambeek may have taken Walters out here. Is he going to come back on? Oh, no, dude. Oh, no, dude. Oh.
That's poor.
Oh, bro. Hope Pat learns from that. Tim had to take evasive action there. But David Walters is now leaking positions. He is literally going down the order, unfortunately for him. And yeah, he seems to have put himself all out of sorts there.
And he's fallen back into the clutches of Jack Vesey and Mena de Graaf for 4th position. Heading over the line once more through Copse Corner. And it's Walters is in 4th place. And Vesey, well, he's got a better driver, and I think Walters was very slow off the exit, and he's going to allow both him and what looks like Mena de Graaf through into Maggots Corner. Is Walters going to make the apex here? He does so. He doesn't do what Patrick Zambeek did on the last lap and just run too deep and rejoin into the path of Tim Walters, forcing him wide. But we'll leave that alone for now. I'm sure the stewards will have their own say on it, or the drivers will have their own say on it afterwards. I don't think they have stewards really in this particular championship. They're all very friendly, these, so they know their way around. They know how to handle these machines, and I think there's just a few. There's some signs of rustiness, let's say, considering it's the first round of the season.
Yeah, we don't do stewarding. I got asked to what are the rules. My philosophy on that one was, we're all men, we know how to drive, do we really need them? And that was it. I don't write a 16-page logbook of rules and how you can do this and how you can't do that. And, you know, if I had, as Luke knows, if I had my way, I'd have a 5-line and they would all end with the same word. And I cannot put that word or say what that word is, but let's just put it this way. It wouldn't be a very long rule book because there's no need. All of these guys know how to drive. They all know they're not to take each other out. They all know to leave the door open if somebody's coming hurtling at them. And at the end of the day, they don't need rule books, just like they don't need stewarding. They sort it out between themselves. They're men. They're all adults, and that's what they do.
A bit like the days in the 1950s when it was all a lot more gentlemanly.
Yeah. Either that, we all meet up at Mike's farm, and we put them in the ring and see who comes out on top. Well, there we go. That's it. Like it did back in the old 80s and 90s. You know? Gen X days, that was, mate. That was growing up, that was.
And Hudson, he's looking to get back the lead of the race that he lost earlier on when he ran over that bump on the exit of Club Corner. LeMay holds him off. Hudson goes one way and then switching to the next. And now LeMay, well, he's got to be careful here because Hudson's alongside. He may have the high ground for the inside for Club Corner, but he backs out of it and LeMay will hold on. But this is the part of the circuit as they head towards Bridge where Hudson got by him for the lead. Don't go over that bump. John, you went over that last time and it didn't quite pay off for you on that occasion. But if he can just stick to the inside and get through at Bridge Corner, if not Priory, then he'll be into the lead. And there you go. Unless LeMay has other ideas, which he does, gets his elbows out. And this is all bringing Mike Bousson into the equation.
Yeah, Bousson's climbing in through the background as well. Mike Hutchinson just goes in again. A fly try and fly in my mouth. That was nice. As LeMay, nothing, you know, worse than that. Through Woodcote. Out the other side, we've got about 8 minutes to go. Very true, says Luke. It is very true. There's no need for half of what other leagues do, dude. You know what I mean? There's no point. But these guys are going to continue fighting out. McHutchison, LeMay and Bousson. BC's not far behind. Waters is there. He's got Menno pushing him a little bit. We've lost Michael LeMay, Jamie Bird and Paul Crabb. But to be fair, you know, we're not surprised because their incidents did break their car. So, you know, fair play to them. But this could be a cracker here. I'm wondering how Paul is going to fare because he can't look back for too long. He needs to keep an eye on the Scotsman in front. If he worries about the Brit behind, unfortunately, that Brit will hold him up and the Scotsman's going to escape. So for Paul Lemay, it's ignore what's behind, ignore Mike, and then just basically go forward. And that's about as best as he's got here, because he cannot mirror drive worrying about Mike Bousson.
He's going to have to surprise him in some way. Can't necessarily rely on John making a mistake like he did last time, because it's very rare for John to make a mistake like that. As they head out of club corner, the driver's using a little bit of the runoff.
Yeah, you can get away with a little bit, but as you said, from John's point of view, he's got to be careful with the curb entry.
On lap number 8, 12 minutes in, I'm working it out. I think it will be a 13-lap race. We'll keep an eye on that as the race continues to develop. And Hudson on course for his first win of the season now. Like I say, second in race 1, fourth in race 2. A race win in race 3 will not be too shabby by his standards. And to my calculations, he will be in the lead of the championship, bearing in mind you get more points for a race 3 win than you would do for races 1 and 2.
Yeah, but it depends what the offset is. I don't think he had a great race 2. I think he was like 4th. So we'll find out how the offset is. Paul Lemay's been there in and around as well. So yeah, it could be very, very tight on the standings. It's tough when Johnny's out in front. You have to be really sure of a move. He is so bloody quick. I agree with you. I do agree with you. And I think for Paul Lemay, he's got to get his elbows out. That's the thing. And at the moment, not getting his elbows out. And Mike is going to, can't go around the outside. And, I thought they were going to come to contact, but they didn't.
Well, thankfully, they didn't that time. And Bousson sniffing at second place with Paul Lemay, the man who occupies that. Jack Vesey having another strong run in 4th position. David Walters doing not too bad actually in 5th place since he dropped back a little bit earlier. Ben Underdown, we've not really spoken enough about Ben Underdown this evening so far, have we? It was sort of sniffing it out with some of those who were in pro last season. He was an AM last season, was Ben Underdown, put on some really consistent performances. And now he's just wanted to get some points under his belt after what's been an evening where he'll just want to get the ball rolling for the new campaign. We will see better signs of Underdown in the coming rounds. I'm absolutely sure of it. We're now on lap number 10. I think we might get another lap. I think it will be a 13-lap race, like I said earlier. But Hudson is not exactly shooting off into the distance, not scampering away from Lemay and Bousson. So Hudson will have his hands full of these two. I mean, half a second by his perspective may seem like a commanding gap, but it can easily evaporate in a blink of an eye. So it's vital he doesn't make any mistakes from here on in.
You know and I know, Paul Lemay sat in that car telling Mike Bousson to stay away from him. Because as soon as they start fighting, that Scotsman is gone. And you cannot let him go. It's almost trying to catch the Scarlet Pimpernel when John's out in front. Just disappears and you never see him again. And they've got to know this. They've got to do one thing. A, close each other back up to John, overtake John, and then maybe go for a fight over the last few laps, right? They cannot battle beforehand. Because if they battle, he's gone. And neither of them are going to get the race win. That's it. He'll vanish like William Wallace into the night. And that will be the end of John McCutcheon. So for Bousson and Lemay, they've got to stay away from each other. They have to try and use and close up on these guys to make sure that John does not escape. As does Menno, who nearly went into the back of David Walters, going round Priory, and there at the same time. So Menno de Graaf is giving David Walters a right little bit of a battle here as they're going to go side by side down in the Cops.
Vesey with his personal best lap of the race with a 1 minute 34.0. De Graaf, well, I can say that Walters has completely left the door open. It didn't feel like he had a good exit out of Cops Corner. De Graaf is on the inside. Does he leave room? He does. Walters will fight back on the inside through Beckett's, and he just about holds on. But De Graaf will be back for more, and all that is helping Ben Underdown close in. And no change at the moment between the top three, but Lemay has closed in a little bit more on Hudson. And I don't know if Lemay and Bousson have been in close communication with each other, but it feels like they're working together to put John Hudson off.
Yeah, I don't even know if I don't even know if they're in the same Discord or whatever. I don't even not even sure at the moment, but yeah, I don't know if they are going to be doing that, but at the moment they're doing what they need to. That gap has come down. It's come down from about 4.5 tenths over the last couple of laps to now below a tenth and a little bit. And at this moment in time, they're doing what they need to. How is this going to affect the rest of the race? Well, that I can't tell you.
Not long to go here at Silverstone. We will get interviews with drivers after the third race is done. LeMay had a really poor exit out of left field, ran too far out wide, and Bousson is right there when he needs to. But does he decide to battle it, or do you think, do you know what? No, I'm going to let LeMay carry on for another lap, just close back in on John Hudson and see what happens on the last tour.
That's all he can do. Bousson will know. Bousson will know like LeMay will know. They know if they fight, he's gone. The only way they can go for a victory is to work together for this last couple. And that's the problem. Because then you're asking two racing drivers to work together, which never ever normally happens. So, yeah. If I were Mike, I'll hold off for the last lap and see what happens. Yeah, but Luke, the last time I watched you try to do that at Road Atlanta with Simon Edwards, dear sir, it didn't work out so well for you. So, you know, let's see if it can work out any better for Mike. And Mike, you know, and I've known, Mike normally fluffs it coming up towards the end anyway, like he did in Watkins Glen when he was out in front and then spun it in the chicane a few laps from the end and hit the wall. So, yeah, no, I do know what you're saying, but I think at the moment they've got to try and keep McHutchison in sight at the moment.
1 lap to go at the end of this, and Hudson on course for his first win of the campaign. LeMay not too far off, and then Mike Bousson right there to snatch it. Jack Veazey on his own in 4th place. Consistent evening for him. And David Walters just holding off Menedigoff for now, but Ben Underdown has closed in. So it's not just this battle, as Murchison runs wide. That is probably one of the worst exits I've seen from him out of that particular corner. And that might give Paul LeMay and Mike Bousson a little bit of hope as we begin the final lap here at Silverstone.
This is going to be the one now. This is going to be who's going to have the biggest kahunas to pick these up and make overtakes. Is it going to be LeMay? Is it going to be Bousson? Is it going to be McHutchison holding on to the win? Is going on down here with David Walters and Menno de Graaf and now Ben Ender down in the picture going to affect anything of them positions? But this is the one we need to look at. It's got to be somehow, somewhere for Paul LeMay. And then see how they get on.
Through Stowe Corner for the last time. Hudson just holding on here. If he can just get through Club Corner without doing what he did earlier on in the race when he rode that bump, when he went wide, he'll be safe and sound, because I don't think LeMay's going to do anything about Hudson here. As they go over the grassy, and just see that if further on the background with Walters and Mendigroff running wide, but I think they're okay. But Hudson looks like he's doing enough to hold off LeMay, unless LeMay is feeling ambitious. He goes to the inside there, tries to put Hudson off. He's got one more opportunity, really, if he can help it. Hudson placing the car correctly through Brooklands and now Luffield. And it's going to be John Hudson who takes the final win of the evening here. He gets his season off to the best start possible with 25 points from this feature race. John Hudson wins at Silverstone ahead of Paul LeMay and Mike Bousson. Rounding out the podium, Jack Veazey with a brilliant drive to 4th place again. David Walters holding off Menedigoff to 5th, and it's Ben Undell in 7th, Ivan Bremer, Stefan Mellis, and a long way back is Patrick Zambeek and Tim Walters.
Yeah, great win from John that. Great racing again, very, very respectful as always. Tim's had a bit of a nightmare. I'll show you his last one. I'm not quite sure what he did. I think he carried too much speed. Oh, back end. Rats for Mr. Tim Walters. Joined in quite late for this series. Zambeek and Walters going to come up over the line for the final run. But great racing. Stunning racing. There's nothing that you don't expect from these guys either. If you want to get yourselves involved, don't forget as well, links to the Discord should be down in the YouTube chat. If there's any problems, send me a message and I will get one to you as soon as possible. Or if you're in any one of the 77 Discords I'm in now, please hit me up, send me a message, and we can get you involved once again. So there we go. Good racing tonight. Nice to see the new guys. It was Gert. When are you coming back, Gert? Are you back at all? Have you signed up for this season already?
Is it Gert-Jan Polman you're on about?
Yeah. Oh, we are signed up. So yeah, we'll be back in. Looking forward to that.
Round three, I think it is. He's back, so it'll be in a couple of weeks' time for Gert-Jan Polman. As Tim Oz has already crossed over the line, and we'll run down on the result for race number 3. John Hudson is your winner ahead of Paul LeMay and Mike Bousson. Jack Veazey to 4th position. A great job from him. David Walters 5th, and De Graaf in 6th place. Ben down 7th. Evan Bremett, Stefan Mellis, and Patrick Zambeek running up the top 10 with Tim Walters as the last finisher in 11th place. Michael LeMay, Paul Crubb, and Jamie Bird didn't make it to the end. We should have some drivers in the waiting room. Shall we bring Paul LeMay in, JP?
Yeah, go for it, mate. Bring him in.
I'll let you do that because I don't know exactly how to bring the drivers in from the.
Click on their name and pull him in, but he's there for you.
Paul LeMay, good sir, how are you?
Tom, James, yeah, pretty good, thanks, boys. Yeah, that was tough.
Well, if it was tough, it's a very good reason for it to be tough because you did win race number 1. Race 2 didn't quite go the way that you wanted it to, but race 3 nearly had it there. Nearly had it.
Yeah, I wasn't too far off. I knew it was going to be a real tough move to get past John. And to be honest, he had it covered really. But yeah, happy with race 1. Race 2 coming together with Jamie, one of those things. But yeah, all in all, I can't complain too much. It's really good racing, good circuit as well.
Yeah. How are you looking at the calendar at the moment? Because we've got a lot of brilliant venues. I mean, we've got some that were on there last season, i.e. Thruxton, Monza Historic. But which ones are you most certainly looking forward to?
I think Phillip Island's one of my favourites. The Monza Historic is just fantastic. So yeah, I think the Canada's really good, really well sorted. So I think the only one I'm not so keen on is Roval. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the schedule. So looking forward to hopefully competing every round.
Excellent. Anyone you want to shout out to, Paul, before we let you go?
Yeah, to John. Yeah, he had it all sewn up tonight. So congratulations to him. He drove really well. And hopefully we'll be able to get one up on him sometime. You never know.
Paul, thank you very much for speaking to us. Well done on your performance tonight and getting the season off to a very, very good start.
Okay, cheers, guys. Take care now.
Bye, mate.
Paul LeMay taking the race 1 victory. Let's have a word with Mike Bousson, who's been challenging at the front end throughout the evening. Mike, good to speak to you. How's things, and how do you think tonight has gone for you?
Good evening. I think it's gone very well. Normally I'd get taken out of at least one of the races, so I'm happy to get a real solid...
over you, Charlie. You'll probably take yourself out.
Oh, darn. Here, just put yourself back to the background. You're ruining this interview.
Go on, carry on.
To be fair, I'm amazed you could make it, to be fair, but fair do.
Oh, dude. Some of us have been busy.
Hey, I've seen you drive the F4. I don't need you to ever comment about my driving ever again.
Hey, I won 10 quid off you last week for your F4 driving, so...
I only based it on the previous race, and you struggled to keep it on the track last race. So I
did.
Let's everybody know in the broadcast, he did have the racing line on, mind you.
Hey, I had to. I don't get no practice like you. I don't care.
There's no you had to.
I did have to.
Practice.
I know we don't, but I still can't drive for toffee. So anyway, listen, we've completely ruined Tom's interview now.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry,
well,
Tom.
I was going to say 3 podiums from 3. You can't say that it's been a bad start for you this time around.
No. Really should have got first in the second race, but fair play to you, and he had a lovely little switch back on me, and I thought myself, he got me really. A little bit of a barge on me, but to be fair, he was slightly ahead, so I'll let him have that one.
Any particular events this season you are most certainly looking forward to? Very quickly.
What's the calendar? Donington, yes. Imola. Charlotte's not done that for long. Le Mans, yes. To be fair, It's all pretty good, to be fair. I'm very good at Thruxton, generally very good at Suzuka and Phillip Island. So yeah, it should be some reasonable results in that. And historic Monza, I'd sort of tend to do pretty well.
Anyone you want to shout out to, Mike, before I let you go?
To you two guys, and a special thank you for James just to turning up and to say hello.
That's good, because you know what? I'm not here next week.
Yeah, you're better in small doses. Let's be brutally honest.
Oh.
So I can live with that for a season.
Bye, Mike.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know why I bring him up. I swear to God, it's like a comedy sketch every time he gets together. Right, here's John for you, bud.
Okay. John, after we had some form of banter with Mike, how do you think the evening's gone for you? It was second in race 1, fourth in race 2, winner in race 3. Good start to the season, or do you think it could have gone better for you?
No, I'm happy with that. It's a very difficult place to overtake, and everyone seems to be getting faster. I'm getting slower, one of the two. So it's going to be really good, I think. Should be a good season this year.
And in terms of the numbers we've got for this season, how has that played out for you so far? Because we were sort of quite tight and getting more and more numbers in there at the moment. But how are we with that in terms of for this season?
I'm not sure. You need to ask James. I think maybe 19, 20 signed up.
Yeah, we're on 21. Sure. I think 20. We just hit 21. I think Steve Webb is the newest member. So I think we're
good.
on. I think we're up there now. Yeah, 19.
There was always a few guys. There was always a few guys saying they couldn't make the first couple of races. So hopefully the numbers will go up as we get further on.
I can see you've not included Knockhill this time on this season's calendar.
They bullied me into not playing it this year. It was either Knockhill or Thruxton, and they all chose Thruxton.
Yeah, I would as well.
No, Knockhill all day, all day.
Anyone you want to shout out to, John, before we let you go?
Well, a shout out to the 3 new guys at race tonight: Patrick, Tim, and Jack. Jack seems like he's going to be up to pace in no time, so looking forward to some battles with him. And a shout out to Mr. Grumpy Crab tonight.
No, I mean, Jack Vesey was very, very good tonight. He surprised me, actually. He was one of the surprises of the evening. So good to see Jack flying high from the get-go, and we'll see more of that from him in the coming rounds. And of course, we hope to see more of that from you in the coming rounds. Race win number 1 in the bag for this campaign. Great stuff from you, John.
Thanks, Tom. Cheers, pal.
No problem. Well then, JP, that rounds off this evening's action for the first round of the Radical SR8 Championship. What do you think we've learned from this Silverstone historic event here today?
It's going to be manic. You're going to be in for a lot of interesting racing throughout the season, and I think you're going to be looking forward to it every single week, and this is what you're going to get from here as well. Don't forget, guys, you want to get yourself involved, Discord link down below. Hit me up if you can't get one, or if there's an error on one. I don't think there is. Should be a good one all the way through, though, Tom.
Absolutely so. Well, thank you to everyone that's tuned in, and we'll do it all again when Jim Cunningham is with me in the box next week. And we'll speak to you again soon when the Radical SR8 Championship returns.